Welcome to Strawberry Ink, where we delve into deep cases of the most chilling and mysterious true crime from around the world. I'm your host, Santiago, and today we're investigating the horrific crimes by Gilberto Ventura Ceballos, a man whose violent actions would shake the country of Panama to its core. In 2010 and 2011, a series of brutal killings unfolded in Panama, leaving a trail of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. Gilberto Ventura Ceballos, a Dominican native, was at the center of those atrocities, responsible for the deaths of young Chinese Panamanian kids. Today, we'll walk through the details of this disturbing case, the victims, the investigation, and the chilling points behind the crimes that terrorize a community and send shockwaves throughout the region. But before we begin, a warning. The content of this episode may be disturbing to some listeners. The victims, Yesenia Argeli Slu Kam, Yan Jian Wu, Sammy Zhen Chen, Joel Maurio Louis Wan, and Georgina del Carmen Li Chen, who were all part of Panama's main Chinese community, had vanished, and were reported missing to the authorities by their families. This shocked Panama's national police, who would start investigating. They even used their German Shepherd dogs to search for them. Their bodies were later found buried at the residence of a village known as El Trapichito. After a further investigation, the police believed that Gilberto Ventura Ceballos, a Dominican native who had immigrated to Panama, was the last person known to have been with the 5 victims, and also one of the last people known to have been at this residence. Authorities would then start searching for him. However, he was nowhere to be found and had fled the country. The national police then discovered that Ceballos had caught a flight from Panama's main airport, Tocumen, to the international airport in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, known as Las Americas. Therefore, Panama's government contacted the Dominican government to help out with the search. In 2011, the Dominican National Police captured Ceballos after raiding a Santo Domingo residence. Ceballos was informed at Santo Domingo's police station that he was tied as a suspect to the disappearance of 5 Chinese kids in Panama. He was afterwards detained in the city's detention center, known as Centro San Luis. Meanwhile, the bodies of the 5 kids were examined at an institute run by Panama City's Criminal Justice University. The bodies were identified as the 5 missing victims, and their causes of death were ruled a homicide by stabbing. Ceballos was then charged with 5 counts of murder and 5 counts of kidnapping in Panama and extradited back to the country. He was transported on a plane from Santo Domingo's La Isabela Airport to the other airport of Albrook, Panama. He was then taken to Panama's National Police headquarters at the country's capital and interrogated there. Ceballos denied being involved with the murder or abduction of the 5 victims. After processing, he spent the night at the headquarters and appeared in front of Panama City Magistrate Harry Diaz-Gonzalez, who ordered that he be held on a pretrial detention for the time being. Ceballos was afterwards booked into the La Joyita prison, where he would await trial. He shortly after pleaded not guilty to all charges. In October 2017, he was scheduled to go to trial. However, weeks prior, he escaped from the prison, leading to the trial being postponed. Ceballos remained in the area for the time being until he gained access to false documents that said he was a Colombian named Carlos Alberto Aiguirre Valencia. With those documents, he fled to Costa Rica on a bus. After an international manhunt, the Costa Rican National Police captured him on September 22, 2017, after raiding another residence in the town of Jaco. He spent that night at the country's Garabito police station and was then detained at the jail of a nearby island known as San Lucas. Ceballos was then extradited once again to Panama and was this time booked into a penitentiary known as La Joya. Later that year in November, he was finally put on trial for the murders. Ultimately, a panel of 3 Panama City judges convicted him of all of the crimes he was charged with regarding the 5 victims, as well as an extra crime for escaping prison, one in which the same panel of judges had arraigned him on. They altogether imposed a sentence of 50 years in prison. After receiving his sentence, Ceballos was taken to another penitentiary known as La Nueva Joya. He appealed the sentence and conviction. However, Panama's appellate court refused to overturn his conviction, but did reduce his sentence to 30 years. He would then go on to escape once again from his new penitentiary, and another manhunt would start. However, this manhunt quickly ended when the National Police spotted and captured him in a town miles away known as Chiriquí. That night, he was detained at the National Police headquarters once again, and the following day was taken to the courthouse in the town of La Chorrera, where he appeared before another magistrate, Olmedo Arrocha. Ceballos was charged with another crime for escaping prison once again. Arrocha ordered that he be held at the National Police's headquarters in Panama City to await his next trial and continue serving his sentence. Later on in 2019, another panel of judges would convict him on this next charge and sentence him to an extra 5 years in prison. However, about a year later in 2020, with an appeal, this sentence and his conviction was reversed, and Ceballos would no longer have to serve that extra 5 years. He to this day remains locked up in the National Police headquarters due to concerns of him escaping a 3rd time. The funerals of the 5 victims were held at the funeral home and church of Panama's Chinese neighborhood. Ceballos' girlfriend received death threats due to his reputation, and another criminal investigation started. However, those suspects have not been identified. I also want to wish you all a happy Lunar New Year. May these victims rest in peace. Thank you for listening. Please like this episode and follow the podcast for more content. Till next time, goodbye.